Shakespeare lived more than 400 years ago, and many records that we have had about him have been lost. He lived mainly in two locations, Stratford and London, England. London is where he did most of his work, which was acting and writing plays. Not everything is known about him, so we have to assume from fans. He was born around 1564, and he is the oldest surviving child of John and Mary Shakespeare. Their first two children died shortly after infancy. He likely attended Stratford's grammar school until he was about the age of 15. In 1582, he married Anne Hathaway. In 1585, they had twins, named Judith and Hamnet. Hamnet was his only son and died at the age of 11 in 1587. Possibly some of his earlier plays and writings were Henry V, Part 3, which was possibly already performed, and in 1593 Shakespeare published a long poem named Venus and Adonis. The first edition of his plays started in 1594, and for more than 2 decades he had roles in the London theatre as an actor, a playwright. He also was once a business partner in the acting company Lord Chamberlain's Men.
After the Civil War, there was a time of peace and happiness. The ruler of Lancaster, England at the time was Edward IV. Edward had a younger brother named Richard. Richard becomes power-hungry and bitter about his deformity, so he kills anyone in his way to become the new king. He manipulates a lady named Anne into marrying him when he is on his path to the throne. He kills his other brother Clarence and blames it on Edward, the King of England. Edward later dies of a deadly illness. He is now the Lord Protector of England. Now everyone is fearing him because of all the rumors circulating around England. As they spread, a nobleman named Richmond decides to invade England. The night before the battle, Richmond III has a dream that he will die the next day. This is true. Richard dies and Richmond is crowned the new King Henry VII.
Many historians have found that the source of Shakespeare's inaccuracy is from the Holinshed Chronicles. This is inaccurate because there were many authors that contributed to this book. Also, these people had many different religious origins, and it was the tension between them when it was published. These authors had come from many diverse backgrounds, and there was a wide variety of conflicting sources between them. Shakespeare relied heavily on the history and the chronicles when writing Richard III. There have been many different writers, such as Sir Thomas More, that have been proven to be more accurate on the story of Richard III.